Season of the Deep is finally starting to slow down. Well, okay, that kind of happened in week 2, and with nothing really going on, in today's video I want to go over the top 10 things that, at least for me, would drastically improve the game from a PvE player's perspective. So, subscribe if you haven't already if you enjoy the content, and let's jump into it. Number 10. Proper clan support. Clans in Destiny 2 are absolutely embarrassing, and only serve as being a secondary friends list off to the right of the roster menu. Don't believe me? Well, let's see exactly what they offer aside from that. More public event rewards, exciting. Clan vendor challenges give 5 legendary shards, game changing. Completing a clan vendor challenge gives enhancement cores, invigorating. Earn bonus trials rep when winning matches with teammates, perfect for PvE clans. And finally, you get the opportunity to get an additional bounty from Hawthorne. Incredible. Outside of this, you can get some bonus legendary gear from Hawthorne, but that's about it. Oh yeah, and you get a new clan staff every season, and this feature is so valued by Bungie that they even named the most recent one. This staff is the reward for reaching max clan level in Season 19. Truly rolls off the tongue. At the very least, turning the clan staff itself into the raid banners that you can place before raid and dungeon encounters would be a massive improvement from what we have at this moment, but Bungie needs to do a lot more than just that for the clan feature. I want something similar to Warframe in the sense that you can have your own clan social space that's similar to the Helm, but at least somewhat customizable. And we don't need something quite on the level of Warframe where you can place anything just about anywhere, but how about something similar to the Igloo on Europa where you can place various trophies that your clan earned in predetermined areas around the social space. Like, imagine doing Day 1 Kingsfall with your raid team and being rewarded with Oryx's head that you can mount up on a wall in the clan social space. I think that would be sick. These areas could also feature basic things like a vault, postmaster, and even your own personal cryptarch for engrams and such. The current state of clans is just so sad, and with Bungie proclaiming Destiny 2 to be an MMO, yet they lack such basic social features is just a travesty in my opinion. Number 9. Sparrow Transmog. Now listen, I know that sounds dumb at first when it comes to making a list about improving the game, but is it really that dumb? This game has so many sparrows to choose from, with many of them being directly tied to in-game content, effectively turning them into a carrot on a stick type of reward. Oh hey, I know you don't want to run a master raid, but look at this sick sparrow that you get as a reward that features special effects that are unique to it. Well, in the current state of the game, I don't give a shit about any sparrow that isn't always on time because it's objectively better in every way compared to the others. It's not only the fastest sparrow in the game, but it's also one of the only 2 sparrows, at least to my knowledge, that features the stealth running perk, which makes enemies less aggressive to you while riding it. Which, if you run GM Nightfalls or even playing in areas like the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sparrow race, it's a really nice perk to have. Bungie, just let me transmog my always on time because I love the benefits that the sparrow gives me, but I'm tired of the way that it looks after the last 3+ years. Number 8. A real firing range. I am absolutely baffled that in 2023, the year of our Lord, we even have to have this discussion. We had a real firing range back in 2019 that Bungie removed. And don't give me that crap of, yeah, you can just go down the stairs from the crafting table in the Enclave. Like, okay, yeah, let me test my Witherhoard plus 4th times the charm and bait and switch damage, followed up by my super. Which, by the way, none of those things even work. This downstairs area doesn't even have an unlimited rally banner to get your super and ammo back instantly, so you have to wait around with your thumb up your ass to even get super energy and ammo back. That combined with the fact that like none of your perks ever proc when shooting these floating hockey pucks, it just makes this area one of the most half-baked areas in the game. Just please bring back the Tribute Hall, it's literally already in the game because of the Duality Dungeon, and just bring back its functionality where we can properly spawn enemies in and test damage values. Or if you're really wanting to put your Eververse dollars to the use, Bungie, add a completely new firing range into the tower or the Helm social area. The fact that in 2023 we still have to go into lost sectors to test weapons, perks, subclasses, etc., it's just sad. Number 7. Permanent contest mode raids. I truly do not know what Bungie has to lose by adding this into the game. As someone who got addicted to Destiny way back in 2014 because of the raids, I barely do them anymore because they feel so easy and have next to no replayability. I've done every day 1 raid from Deepstone onward, and every time I finish my day 1 clear, the raid is never that fun for me ever again. I wish I had a mode where I could feel challenged without Bungie feeling the need of pumping the raid with champions, because truthfully, the adds that you fight in Gambit are more of a threat than normal mode enemies. If Bungie were to add a permanent contest mode difficulty, this opens up the door for players to earn some really sick rewards too. For one, this can help end the debate about day 1 raids giving out emblems in the 48-hour window, as Bungie can have a 24-hour emblem available and a contest mode emblem that's available for people to get well after the fact. Permanent contest mode can also serve as a means for teams to practice before a day 1 raid, getting them ready to hopefully earn their first 24-hour emblem, which I think a lot of teams would really appreciate. They could even go the route of having contest raids give special cosmetic rewards akin to the 𝗔𝗔𝗔𝗏 back in Destiny 1, and this kind of pairs well with number 6 on the list. Number 6. More desirable in-game cosmetics. Is it just me, or are you guys tired of these same types of rewards that Bungie throws our way for accomplishing really hard feats in Destiny? For example, when I do a flawless raid, I can always expect a shader. When I go flawless in trials, I have a chance to get a ship or Sparrow. When I do a master raid, I can expect the same. When I do a contest raid, I'll get an emblem. All this is fine and cool, but can we get rewards that we can like show off on our guardians? Like, the closest thing that we have right now is the flawless raid shaders, but these pale in comparison to what some of the Eververse shaders out there can do, so most people aren't even going to notice. I want rewards that are unique armor ornaments, or even the return of weapon ornaments. Hell, even get some more mementos into the game because they're a great concept, and there's only 3 of them, and a lot of them look downright horrible in the majority of weapons. Imagine if you could get the flowing red effect that the duality weapons have as a memento for running duality on master mode. Or if running raids on master/contest mode, you could get either special mementos or weapon/armor ornaments for your raid gear that would upgrade the looks of it, similar to either 𝗔𝗔𝗔𝗏 or even the prestige Leviathan gear. As an in-game player, I'm completely apathetic to the rewards that we get right now, because most of them exist in a way that I can't really show them off while playing, or I personally can't really even look at them. I either get a ship, which just makes my loading screen look different, a ghost that I'll barely ever see, a shader that looks worse than one for 300 bright dust, or a Sparrow that will get me shot more often and go slower than always on time. Give me some cosmetics that trick out my armor that I'm wearing, or make the guns that I'm holding look cooler, because right now, the majority of in-game cosmetic rewards, it's just not it. Number 5. A legendary strike playlist. This one is fairly similar to me wanting a permanent contest mode for raids, because if we're being honest, the current strike playlist is just a joke, and this would be a step in the right direction when it comes to giving the PvE side of the core playlist activities some love. A legendary strike playlist is essentially a callback to how things were in Destiny 1, where you could select different playlists depending on difficulty, and that's exactly what I want to see here. I'm one of those players that if Bungie just flipped a switch and made every single enemy in the game on par with legendary difficulty, I'd be extremely happy, but I know that that would never happen. So having an opt-in difficulty for things like strikes would not only make the gameplay feel less brain dead, but also invite an opportunity to give more unique rewards, whether that be double chest drops from the end, more Vanguard reputation, or even number 4, strike specific loot. Why God? Why did Bungie do away with this concept? The whole strike specific loot and skeleton key thing that Bungie had going in D1 was just perfect, and it upsets me to no end that we don't have that in D2. This gave such an insane amount of replayability to the strike playlist, and I feel like it could do wonders here in D2. They can make these drops exclusive to the Legendary Strike playlist, or even make it to where the drop chances are higher in said playlist, and allow things like GM Nightfalls to essentially be a way where you can essentially guarantee these drops, and certain weeks in a season would just be an absolute blast to farm depending on the reward. One of my favorite things about strike-specific loot in D1 was that it really played into the fantasy of defeating your enemy and wearing them like a trophy. Bungie did this with a lot of different armor pieces, and it was such a dope concept, and even did it with weapons like the Grasp of Malak. Bungie, please. The community has been asking for this type of thing for years, and it would be amazing. Number 3. Selectable raid and dungeon checkpoints. Listen, I'm just really confused as to why this isn't already a thing in the game, because it technically already exists, you just have to jump through a bunch of hoops to accomplish it. Like, people have been infinitely farming checkpoints in this game for years by holding them on alternate characters, and Bungie has never done anything about it, so why not turn it into a feature? Of course, I'm sure Bungie doesn't want people booting up Netherrack checkpoint at the beginning of a weekly reset, but allow players to infinitely load back into it so long as they got it themselves, whether that be through running the raid to get to the checkpoint or grabbing it from a checkpoint bot. I just see no reason as to why this hasn't become a quality of life change yet, especially since Bungie encourages checkpoint farming in dungeons, specifically with always the most recent dungeon giving unlimited loot for encounter completions. Number 2. A new focus on seasonal events. Remember the days of seasonal events being fun? Yeah, me neither, maybe aside from the first time that I ran one. Listen, I get it, Bungie uses seasonal events as one massive advertisement for the Eververse each and every time it rolls around, but that doesn't mean that they can't change how they approach them. I remember when Sparrow Racing League first ever became a thing in Destiny 1, and myself and my buddies weren't reluctant at all to cop some cosmetics for the event because it felt like something truly refreshing and that we were joining in on the fun and we didn't mind supporting the game as a result. Nowadays, Bungie just puts in the least amount of effort imaginable into their events, while stocking the Eververse full of new things to coax players into buying, even going as far as to turn like 50% of your screen in the event card into a blaring advertisement for spending money. Bungie, I promise you that players would be more susceptible to purchasing cosmetics from you if you actually showed them some respect and gave them an event that's actually enjoyable and fun to play first. Nobody likes being given a free sample consisting of a crumb on a plate, then being expected to fork over more money afterwards. Give us a product that we actually find enjoyable and engaging, and I promise you, people wouldn't be as hostile towards your monetization practices. Seasonal events are a joke, and I'd personally rather them not exist at all in their current state, because right now, they just feel like an insult. Number 1. Weapon Crafting 2.0. Some people may disagree with me, but I cannot explain to you just how much weapon crafting has ruined the loot chase for me in this game. When Bungie first announced the feature, they made it sound like weapon crafting was going to be a way to get around having bad RNG, and that's something that I have literally zero problems with. However, that wasn't what weapon crafting ended up becoming, because instead it became the single best way to get loot in the game, because crafted weapons are objectively better than their non-crafted counterparts, even if the non-crafted counterpart is a 5 out of 5 god roll. This is thanks to things like stat boosts as well as of course enhanced perks. And this has truly ruined the loot grind for me, because every time I get a weapon that can be crafted and it isn't a red border, I dismantle it immediately without second thought, even if it was a god roll, because it would still be worse than what I craft later on. Why keep it around when I can just craft it later and it be substantially better, especially if it rolls with perks like target lock or incandescent, which see sizable increases to their effectiveness when enhanced. This problem is compounded by the fact that weapon crafting is just a really boring way to go about loot in this game, and being forced into the system if you want the best loot is incredibly annoying. You're just on a constant hunt for red border drops and nothing else, and once you finally get your weapon crafted, you either spend an eternity leveling it up naturally, or spend a mind-numbing amount of time in 𝗫𝗎𝗄. I'm not going to fully explain how I would personally fix this problem in this video, because I've already done that. But one of the big ways I feel Bungie could remedy this issue is by allowing us to use some sort of currency to put a non-crafted weapon into the Enclave and to do some upgrades from there. For example, if I get a randomly dropped Callus mini tool that has Unrelenting and Incandescent, and it was a role that I wanted to use for the foreseeable future, instead of dismantling it because a crafted one with enhanced perks would be better, I could use some form of currency to convert that weapon into one that's compatible with the Enclave, and from there, I can upgrade the 2 main perks to being enhanced. This would not only bring back value to RNG god-rolled weapons, but would also mean that not 100% of the time do you have to engage with a boring leveling system for your weapon. This would make crafting fall in line with what was originally promised, a way to circumvent bad RNG, and in those cases where you get good RNG, you can convert those weapons into being Enclave compatible and give them enhanced perks so they don't have to be objectively worse. Of course, in a perfect universe, weapon crafting would have never had enhanced perks, and that would have been solely for adept weapons and in-game content. but I feel that we are too far past the point of removing enhanced perks for crafting, so what I just explained to you is my compromise, so that hunting red borders and leveling up weapons in 𝗫𝗎 doesn't have to be the sole entire purpose behind the loot grind in this game right now. And with that all said, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 10 things that, at least for me, would drastically improve Destiny 2. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below and what things you would like to see as well. This video was purely from a PvE player's perspective, and I'm sure that some PvP players probably have some long list of things that you'd like to see as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.